Hey guys, Nav TV here with you. Today we're sitting in a 2017 XT5 by Cadillac. I just want to go over with you some of the features of our KIT780. That's the GM-LVDS piece. This will give you a reverse camera input. It'll also, with an adapter, give you an HDMI input to the factory screen. You can also easily add a front camera with this, and you can force it on with the home button or a wire trigger. Combining with our SVS6, you can actually add up to 6 cameras to this car. We'll go ahead and start it and show you what this system looks like. It's the typical Q system. Okay, we've gone ahead and already taken apart all the dash panels to get it ready to remove the radio. It's not too bad on this. It's just a lot of screws and panels. We had to take this whole panel off.
This vehicle is in demonstration mode, connected by OnStar's 4G connection.
Some of this here, we had to raise this thing up here. There's a bunch of screws firing down here that we had to remove. Pop this just out of the way so we can remove this cover around the radio so we can access the radio screws to actually pull it out without damaging anything. We can pull this out just like this, and you can see the connectors right behind the radio screen. For this kit, GM-LVDS, all the connections happen at the screen. It could be done at the HMI if you want, but this connector, the power connector, has to happen at the screen. So what we're going to do now is shut the system down. Pop the screen out real easily. After you take the 7s out, it's just clips. Tilt this up and you can see all the connections back here. Now, here's your LVDS, that's the video going to the screen. It is in the form of a USB cable. And here's your main power and CAN and GM LAN connector. Now, this one looks like a Chevy connector. Our GM-LVDS KIT780 comes with 2 harnesses, one for Cadillac and one for GM. In this car, for some reason, it's still the Chevy connector. It's not the Cadillac connector. So in this XT5, it's the Chevy connector. Okay, so let's go ahead and just take these guys off so we can set this aside. All right, now what we're going to do is I've taped up our harness a little bit just to make it easier to deal with. So the first thing we're going to want to connect is the T harness for the power and the CAN connection here. So this is going down to the kit. I think the easiest way to do this is to grab the screen and start at the screen. So there's one cable, the video out cable, that has the keyway just like factory. I'm going to start with that one and plug it directly into the screen like this. And make sure it's kind of tight. It's a little rubbery. Make sure it goes in nice and firm. Okay. And then this is going to go, the other side of this cable is going to go to the out on our piece. The other cable is really just an extension. If you don't have to use it, then don't use it. It's just an extension of the in from the HMI. So we connect that there. You can tape that up if you want. And that's going to go back to the piece in the in section. The rest of these connections can go ahead and be reconnected. So T harness back in. This is the hazard switch. This is some other buttons on the left, like parking assist and such. Let's tuck these guys back here so I can show you everything. And let's just clip it. That's good enough. Okay. So the extension of the T harness connects to the main power and the appropriate connector right here. And then we got power, main power. You hear a little click when you plug that in. And then the other side, this is the touch. We're opening up the touch in case you want to add navigation. This car has nav already, so we're not going to be adding nav, but this has to be connected. If you lose your touch screen when you're putting this kit in, it's probably because this isn't connected. This has to be connected right here at touch. Okay, we got our inputs for cameras. Now this car has a factory rear camera, but if you wanted to add a front camera, you could do that very easily and force it through the home button, or again, a green wire trigger will force as well. I have a test camera here. I'm going to plug it into AV-in to show you that, and we'll force that on here soon once we get this all connected up. All right, so I believe this was the in. I'm going to go ahead and connect that to in, and then this was the out, as in out to the screen directly. Okay, so we're all connected up. Let's start the car. Cadillac Q. Nice. Okay, so this car is a factory camera, so we're going to go ahead and put it in reverse. See what we got. We should still see the factory camera. Looks good. So if we were adding an aftermarket camera to this, and I'll go ahead and move my camera over. Yep. You would want to put dip switch 4 down. 4 is for adding an aftermarket camera. Let's put that down. You want to hot swap power after you touch a dip switch, always. Now when we put it in reverse, now you see our test camera here. It's looking down at the carpet. You can see that there. You can see we provide those lines right there that you're seeing emulated on screen, and it's an aftermarket camera instead. You put it in drive, it goes away. Okay. Now I'm going to move this test camera to our AV1 port instead. I'm going to show you the front camera force feature. Now again, you could do this with a wire off a toggle, or using an SVS6 you could add a couple more cameras if you want, like side cameras and such. But to get to directly to the camera off a factory button, just hold home, and there you go. There's the camera, your front camera. To get back, do the same thing, hold home, brings you right back in. Okay, so reverse. That's an aftermarket screen, looking for the camera. Park. Let's go ahead and I can show you again. Let's put 4 up. OEM mode for rear. There you go. Back, hold home. We can get right into a front if you're rolling into a spot. Nice and easy. Awesome. All right, what I want to show you guys now is accessing the menu and adjusting some settings in case you have some different scenarios than a typical just adding a reverse camera scenario. So to get in there, you want to either put dip switch 1 or 2 down, either one. 1 is for adding nav. This car already has nav. Our navs are coming soon. They're not available quite yet. Very soon though. So we're gonna leave that up. But 2 is for the front camera. If I put that up, I will lose our front camera ability. Dip switch 2 is for adding a video to the AV1 RCA. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and you got to be in aftermarket mode to get to the menu. So throw it in first front camera mode or the nav mode, one or the other. Make sure you have the IR receiver connected. Get your remote, pull the plastic out the back, and then on the remote, press OK 4 times, and then power. Now we got a menu. Okay, so we're Navi, AV, set, and info. Those are your choices on this kit. So in Navi, if you're adding Navi, step into Navi and you want to select class CSD. There's a bunch of different options here. Okay, the only one we're going to be using at the moment is Navi CSD, but this kit, the Navi kit, is not quite available yet. Again, it will be very shortly. All right, you can hit mode on the remote to go back into, now I'm in the top menu again, see that? So Navi, step in, I can adjust here if I need to, mode to go back. Okay, so we step over into AV. Now if you're in AV, you can select this for different AV input options. Your only option really here for AV1 is HDMI. Now, if you were to want to add an HDMI input to this radio in this system, you're going to have to add an adapter. That's our KIT780 into the LVDS port right here. And then you can, at that point, get HDMI directly into the screen. You can mirror your phone or put a Chromecast, what have you. Okay, so let's go back in again. All right. So that's set to HDMI. If you're adding that piece, you can set the AV1 to HDMI, and also you need to go back into Navi and step into HDMI Select, and then choose HD95E. That's the only one that's going to work on. HD95E, that's the piece. It's the HD Link KIT780. The only other option you're going to want to maybe adjust in here is front cam timer, and that's under set. You go into set, you go into front cam right there, missing the T, because I ran out of space there. Press that to, your options are off, 11, 9, 7, 5 seconds. So what that does is if I leave it on 5 seconds, okay, what that's going to do is when I leave reverse gear, it's going to show you the front camera for 5 seconds once you put it in drive. It can be on or off. If the user chooses just to only force the front camera with the home button, that's fine. Or off the green wire, that's fine as well. But let me show you that real quick right now. Go to reverse. Okay. Factory. Now I go back to drive. And it shows you the front camera for 5 seconds. And there it goes. So that's an option. If your customer wants to have that on, they can if they want. If they don't want it, leave it off, and you still use the home button to force the front camera. Same button to turn it off. Hold it until it shuts off. Oh. There we go. Okay. All right, so that's the timer function. All right, guys, so let's say you're going to add an SVS6 to this vehicle. And if this was the case, you would have to use the green wire coming off the kit that's labeled reverse. Every time this green wire sees 12 volt, it's going to pull the signal from the AV1 input port. So let's go into the menu again and set the green wire, which is also known as the reverse wire down here. Let's set that to AV1. It's defaulted on rear. We need to set it to AV1. There we go. Okay. So back out of the menu. Let's get back out of the force mode. Okay. Now, when I force this wire off of the main screen, when I send 12 volt to this green wire labeled reverse, you can see we get our image from AV1. So this is the wire we're going to use if we're adding an SVS6 right here. So if I have this car in reverse, there's our reverse. If I force this, nothing's going to happen because reverse takes priority. That's normal. But if you press park, it should switch over immediately as soon as it goes back to, it's because it's ignoring what's happening when in reverse. Take it off and you're back to the factory again. So that's basically it. We have these kits in stock usually all the time. GM-LVDS KIT780. It will work with most all GM Chevy trucks, cars with the IO5 or IO6, and even in brand new Cadillacs. No problem there. Give us a call. Sales, NAV TV. Thanks for watching.